Hey, good morning, everybody. YouTube, how you doing? I'm on a morning walk, and as I walk, sometimes I don't listen to music or anything. I just have my headphones off. Sometimes I just listen to music, and sometimes I watch videos when I'm walking. I was a follower of Colin Noir. He's a black man who is a gun advocate who supports the Second Amendment. I joined his page maybe a couple of years ago. Someone referred him to me. I don't know his political stance, to be honest, because I've never really been too into his politics regarding anything. I more so joined it because he has a lot of gun information. And but anyway, I was just on my walk and I just saw a video, greatly disturbing because it was so contextual. As far as the context, it was just really wrong. Many are aware of the black man that was killed while jogging Aubury. And I'm not going to get too much into that. Colin Noir made a video. If you want to see the video, you can go to his page on YouTube and see it and comment on it. But yeah, he made a video and he said it was his thoughts on the Aubury case, but it wasn't. And I listened to that because I did want to see what he had to say. Because sometimes you have black people who usually are for some standard that Republicans are for, or whatever, right wing, whatever they call themselves, I don't know. But they're usually for that, and they try to appease, because most times those supporters are mostly white men, and they try to appease those people when making any political statement. And I wanted to hear his thoughts on it. I was into it in the beginning of the video because he was stating the right things. But then, I'm not sure if you guys heard the report of the Michigan State rep who was escorted to the Capitol by black men that were armed due to, I guess, a bunch of Republicans outside with guns in front of the Capitol. And many in that state who know what's going on thought that was a threatening posture toward that particular young lady. So some black gun owners got together and escorted her to the Capitol. They escorted her to the Capitol, that's it. They didn't do anything else. It was more so of they saw a black woman in a threatening situation, so they stood up as black men to protect her. Colin Noir tried to relate, and it was such a piss poor job to me. But Colin Noir tried to relate those three armed white men who shot that unarmed black man that was jogging, to those black men that escorted that black woman to the Capitol. And I was so disgusted. I was so disgusted. I mean, some things I shouldn't be shocked by, because whenever you see some black people who are being accepted by white people, I just keep blunt, whenever you see that, and they love that acceptance, and they're making money off of that acceptance, and gaining fame and notoriety off of that acceptance, you'll notice that they always are lukewarm on certain issues, because they don't want to plead, they don't want to frustrate the people who are assisting them with gaining notoriety and publicity and money. I don't care how much money you got, you're still, gonna want that extra. And I shouldn't be shocked, I shouldn't be surprised, but I was mad. I got mad. I'm not gonna try to use any sugar-coated words. I was disappointed, frustrated. No, I was pissed. Because during this time in America, when you line up situations, you don't see black people just shooting white folk and other folk with no probable cause. And if it did happen, we have enough evidence of black people doing minor things to white people and other people to know that if they shot and killed them and that other person was unarmed, we know how the legal system would deal with those people. For this man to try to relate the Aubury situation to that situation with them escorting that Michigan state rep to Capitol Hill was disgusting. It really was. I don't know, man. It's just, it was just disgusting. And it was disgusting not just because he did it. It was disgusting because he did it during, I should say during this time in America, but this has always been going on in America. It's just becoming more visible to people who are not in the black community or who are not black, because there's a lot of black people who move to other ethnic communities and they think they're in a better neighborhood until they find out it's not necessarily a better neighborhood, because you're a victim wherever you go. But for him to make those statements during this time, during a time when people are afraid, black people are afraid to take up arms because we feel, not me, I'm not, but we feel, because even with me not being afraid, I still do think about it, but I do feel that. We feel that if the cops were shooting an unarmed black man, what would they do to an armed black man? They definitely would kill us. But it was so disgusting, y'all. I'm not even, because I thought about tagging the video, or like putting it in my comment section. I mean, if you want to go view it, you go view it, but I don't even want to promote anything on that man's page. And I actually been promoting people, because I'm from Chicago. And if you're from Chicago, you know, as much as the media try to act like Chicago the Wild Wild West, it's not the Wild Wild West. And most like working citizens, you know, they don't have firearms. You know, they're not proficient with firearms. Because like I live in Texas now. And in Texas, it's like you can't ride down the street without seeing a gun store or a gun range or things like that. That wasn't the environment I grew up in. To go to a gun store, you had to travel maybe 30, 40 miles outside of Chicago. To go to a gun range, you had to travel about the same amount too. But, you know, being in that environment, I'm not a person that carries or anything like that, but I'm starting to. I mean, a few years ago, actually, I started my affinity toward not just firearms, but weapons in general. It's more of like just a thing to learn, collection, probably hobby. But still a lot of people that's afraid, you know, that come from my environment to take up arms. We're in Chicago, and I'll just say from experience, Chicago Police Department is one of the racist fraternal orders ever, and some of the biggest white supremacists. And I say that because if you know me, you know my stance on calling other ethnicities racist. I don't believe any ethnicity outside of those of European descent can be racist, but they all can be white supremacists. If I can be clear, all races aren't, what should I say? Trying to see how to say this to put this in the clear. I feel all white supremacists aren't racist, but all races are white supremacists. Yeah, I like that. But yeah, I'm so pissed, y'all, that he did that, because those events were so unrelated, and it was such a reach, and it was so blatant. He was trying to appease to, and I'm not. Let me be clear. Maybe I should have did this beginning of the video. I don't consider myself to be a Republican or a Democrat or anything. I'm not a person that trusts politicians. As a person who has studied history, majority of the people who assisted the black community with moving forward and being seen as equal or being legally changing laws, you know, for us, that will make us equal and equitable. Most of those people, I say a good 90%, maybe 98 if I would, were not politicians. They were people of the community. So I'm not one that believes politicians will or even can help the black community, because I believe this country, the United States of America, the backbone of it is supremacy, and the spine, the spine of that, the spinal cord, maybe the central nervous system, is racism and white supremacy. So I don't believe if you work for this country, you can do anything for the black community, because the black community's position over the, a couple, 2.5 centuries in this country has done nothing but been beneficial to America. So I don't think they could do it. However, I do pay attention to what the different groups say they believe. The only difference I see between the Republicans and Democrats is I think the Republicans are just blatant majority of the time with racism, supremacy, capitalism, things like that, and the Democrats are covert with it, and they try to say sugarcoat words to get in office. But I believe they work together, so I'm not on that. But I can't stand when black people say they're Republicans and they're so Republican that they're illogical and insensible as a black person. And Colin Noir, I'm disgusted by him. If he sees this video, I mean, I don't give a care. He's so big name, he probably won't see this video, but I mean, I'm so disgusted. I was a fan of this dude. And him to say that, like, because I would have done the same thing. I would have, if I seen a bunch of white people, and that's the thing. So this is what he tried to do. He tried to say that those black men escorted that black state rep to the Capitol. I think she's a state rep or senator. I don't know. You know what I mean? He was trying to say they escorted her there just because a bunch of country white folk was standing outside with AR-15s. And I was like, so it's basically trying to diminish why those black men did it, to equate the no probable cause those three white men had, those two white men had with murdering that black jogger. And I'm like, that's not fair. Those white men murdered that black man because they thought he was a criminal, simply because he was black and jogging. There was nothing else that's provided that says why they thought he was a criminal. Those black men that escorted that lady to the Capitol, they escorted that black lady because those weren't just white people outside with guns. Those were white Republicans outside with guns, and she's a Democratic black woman. I mean, are we just missing that majority of these people who just gunning down black people are Republicans? And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to throw shade on the party. I'm saying the people who usually do these crimes, they pledge their allegiance to Republicans and to Donald Trump. And I'm sorry, I do want to throw this in there. If you believe that anybody that supports Donald Trump, and I'm telling y'all, I'm the least political, because I didn't want Hillary Clinton to get into the office either. Because I'm not hung up on what party somebody's in. I pay attention to their deeds, past and present, and I see if it lines up with what they say they're going to do in the future. But one thing I do appreciate about Donald Trump is he's blatant. Though I don't agree with a lot of things that he says, he's blatant. I know where he stands. There's no guessing or second guessing where he stands on certain issues, no matter how ridiculous that stance is. But if you think anyone who supports him is not a racist or a white supremacist, you can't say that. There are certain things, just being a basic human and being a moral person, because I do believe you have to pay attention to what people do, whereas if people do 10 things and they do 9 right and 1 wrong, I don't believe all the time you write them off. However, I do believe you have to pay attention to what that 1 wrong is, because the weight of that 1 wrong can definitely outweigh those 9 rights. So let's just say Donald Trump said 10 things. 9 of them were, okay, that's cool. But 1 of them was so blatantly wrong that somebody who is a child would be like, that's not right. Then, yeah, I don't say I'm going to just go with him just because he did the 9 right things, because the 1 blatantly wrong thing outweighs those 9 right things. But if you believe anybody who supports that man is not a racist or a white supremacist, you're badly misinformed, misguided, clueless, whatever you want to say, man. But I was just so disgusted by that guy's video. Utterly disgusted. I mean, utterly disgusted as a black man to say those things, to try to relate that, and for him to be as public, as famous as he is. He has, I think, 1 million viewers, if not more, maybe a little more. But for him to be like that and to be reporting on public issues, he has a mass following. So to provide those situations without true context was greatly irresponsible. But I honestly believe it was blatantly done. I don't believe it was an accident. I believe he was trying to satisfy the black people that follow him, because he probably has a lot of people that follow him that are black Democrats. But I also believe he was doing that to satisfy the white Republican people. Back up. But yeah, y'all, we gotta just be careful, because I'm sorry, I'm in my park. We gotta be careful, because people are. I was so disheartened, y'all, because I guess because it was. I was happy I found a channel that was giving me some good information about guns, but I left a comment and I said, "Hey man, you just lost a follower." And I know it don't matter. Most celebrities, oh well, if you're gonna unfollow me, but at some point, you gotta hold yourself accountable for decisions that you make. You know, some point you do. So, all right, y'all. I know it's been a long time since I've been on. I know it's been a while. My mother actually passed. That's why I haven't really been on. My mother was really sick for some time. And, yeah, I just haven't been on a while. My mom passed almost a month ago now. But, yeah. All right, thank y'all. To all my subscribers, thank you. Sorry I look so rough. I'm on quarantine in Texas. But I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.